Hi, and welcome to the PBIS presentation for William Orr Elementary School. My name is Alana Dowell, and I am the PBIS coach, and I will be walking this through with you today. So, what is PBIS? PBIS is a positive behavior interventions and support system. It comes from IDEA, which is the Reauthorization of the Individuals with Disabilities Act. This was in 1997. So PBIS is a framework for all school personnel. So it's not just for teachers and principal, it is for everyone. Any person that works on this campus, that's who it is for. It includes adopting and organizing a school-wide approach for behavior interventions, and it's based on the principles of applied behavior analysis. So why do we do PBIS here at William Orr? Well, number one, it's the law. It's also based on research. And most importantly, in my opinion, is that it creates a more positive atmosphere for both students and staff. It creates behavior expectations that cross all grade levels, providing consistency across the school. It creates a clear and organized continuum of behavior interventions, and it's proven to enhance academic and social behavioral outcomes for all students. So, who is your PBIS team? We have Miss Casillas, she's our school principal. You have myself, who is the RSP teacher. I am in room 301, and I am the PBIS coach. Lorraine Chavez, she's in room 102. She's a TK teacher. She's our minute taker. Erin Spence, she is in room 202 as a second grade teacher. She looks at our data. We have Maria Peterson. She is a kindergarten teacher in room 803. She's our communication coordinator. We have Mrs. Reyes. She is a third grade teacher in room 302, and she's our communication and coordinator for technology. We have Mr. Rodriguez. He's our upper grade teacher, our fifth grade teacher. He's in room 503, and he's a member of our team. And you have Mrs. Rodriguez, our school counselor. She's in room 402. She's a member of our team. Currently, we are looking for a parent member to join our team. So if you know of anyone who is looking to volunteer, feel free to contact either myself or Ms. Casillas or any other person on our team. And we'd be more than willing to have those discussions. So here is some of our members. There's me, Mrs. Dell, Mrs. Reyes, Ms. Chavez, Mr. Rodriguez, Ms. Casillas, Ms. Spence, and Ms. Peterson. And not pictured is Mrs. Rodriguez. So PBIS is a 3-tier system where 80% of our school, all students, I take that back, all students receive tier 1 intervention. So all students get to participate in PBIS, and I'll explain what that means later. But this is going to work for about 80% of our school. But what happens when tier 1 interventions don't work? Then they would move up here to tier 2 interventions. And that's just going to be some of our kids, which is about 15% of our school system would fall in the tier 2 system. And then if that continues to not work, then a few of our students, about 5% of our students, would be participating in tier 3 interventions. So again, it's a 3-tier system where the majority of our students should be successful in tier 1. So what is tier 1? Well, tier 1 is the foundation. It is for all of our students. One of the things that we have is the reinforcement system. It's immediate reinforcement. We give out Roadrunner Care tickets. So tickets are given to students when they are demonstrating expected behaviors. And I want to make sure that's very clear. It's expected behaviors. And this is based on the school-wide matrix. When you see a student showing an expected behavior, reward them with a care ticket and say, thank you for blank by blank. So, an example of this would be thank you for respecting others when you were walking quietly in the hall. So, all students, or I'm sorry, all staff are expected to give out tickets. So, no matter who you are on this campus, we do expect you to give out tickets. And you can give out tickets to anyone. It doesn't have to just be in your class or with whom you are immediately dealing with. You can give out tickets to anyone. And this, so all supervision, instructional aides, janitorial, and office staff, everyone is expected to give out tickets. Now, the tickets will change color monthly. So you're going to want to make sure that you have the right color. I've done this before where I've tried to give out a ticket and I realized, oh my goodness, I have the wrong color. This is because the students earn prizes with their tickets and they have to, it's like money and they change monthly. So they have to use their tickets for that month. Let's watch a little video to really reinforce why we do positive reinforcement. It's kind of a funny little video.
Are you finished?
Well, thank you. How thoughtful. Would you like a chocolate?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Sheldon. I almost sat in your spot.
Did you? I didn't notice. Have a chocolate.
Thank you.
You're here a lot now.
Oh, am I talking too much? I'm sorry.
Thank you. Chocolate?
Yes, please. Oh, hey, Kim. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall. You'll never guess who they got to replace me.
Okay. I know what you're doing. Really? Yes. You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior. Very good. Chocolate?
All right. So as you can see, Sheldon was giving Penny chocolate for that expected behavior. So that's what the reinforcement is that you notice that Penny kept on doing what Sheldon was expecting as appropriate behavior because she kept on getting reinforced with that chocolate. So PBIS giving out tickets is a reinforcement system. It provides a positive reinforcement that motivates students to keep working. Like adults, kids who receive positive reinforcement for their good work are motivated to work hard. So when you are receiving something, even if it's just praise, you are motivated to continue to work hard because you enjoy that praise. You get endorphins from that. You enjoy it. So remember, you are reinforcing positive behavior for following the school-wide expectations. So I want to kind of make it very clear. It's just following the expectations for walking in the hall, coming to school on time. Whatever is on our matrix, that is what you're giving a care ticket for. So Roadrunners Care, these are our 3 school-wide expectations. We care about safety, we act responsibly, and we respect everyone. So let's look at the school-wide behavior matrix. So the first section you're going to see respects others. So if they're on the playground and they're following all staff directions, can you give a care ticket? Absolutely. You can say thank you for respecting me when you were following the directions. Or thank you for respecting your friend when you were using kind words. So you can see we have playground, hallways, bathroom, lunch areas, instructional areas, in line, and then all other areas. So again, we have respect others, act responsibly. So say you see someone holding playground equipment in their hands when they're walking to the playground, you can give them a care ticket. Thank you for acting responsibly by holding the ball in your hands when you were walking to the playground. So again, we are giving the care tickets for doing appropriate behavior. So the things on this list is what you are giving care tickets for. We also have intermittent reinforcements. So we have small prizes that are randomly paired with care tickets. And that is planned and communicated by the PBIS team, but we always welcome suggestions. So the last one that we had is that we gave out Skittles that were paired with the care tickets. And then we also have other small reinforcements that are given out randomly by the PBIS team and or principal for growth areas, improved problem areas, or improved sportsmanship, or the list can go on. So if we're noticing that we have an area that we want to really specifically work on, we also can give out extra little small reinforcements for that. We also have long-term reinforcement. We have monthly events, and these are planned by the PBIS team, but we also welcome suggestions. We have lunch with the principal. We have extra recess. Last year we had like a chalk mosaic that we did. These are long-term reinforcement monthly events that the kids use. They have to use their tickets as an entrance fee. So sometimes they cost 5 tickets, sometimes they cost 3 tickets. So the monthly events do cost tickets that the kids need to earn to get into that event. And then we also have a monthly raffle. That what happens if I've got, 10 tickets and the event only cost 5? Well, I've got 5 extra tickets, so they can go into a monthly raffle. If kids choose not to go to the monthly event and they want to put all their tickets into the raffle, that's their choice. They can do that. And in the monthly raffle, we give small prizes to each grade level. And we do that over the speaker. Teachers are teaching expectations for all areas of our school. So the kids do know the matrix. They know the expectations. They were explicitly taught it. So teachers rotate stations in the beginning of the year, and they teach the expected expectations based off the matrix. Teachers also are using cool tools that teach the playground games. So each playground activity has rules that they are expected to follow. And the rules are posted on the playground. So you can kind of see back here, there's that poster for handball. They're teaching the handball game right here. Some examples of the posters around our school is we have the bathroom poster where we respect others, we give privacy to others, handle your business quickly, acting responsibly, caring about safety. So if you see someone in the bathroom and you know that that floor has not been dry when that particular kid comes in and you see that it is, give them a care ticket. Thank you for caring about safety when you left the floor dry, or thank you for acting responsibly when you threw away all your trash in the trash can. We have our playground rules here: respecting others, act responsibly, and care about safety. Thank you for caring about safety when you kept your hands, feet, and all objects to yourself. Or thank you for respecting others when you played fair. And then this is an example of our basic basketball rules. So we have the rules here posted. Again, kids have been explicitly taught all three of these. And so they will know what the expectation is. So what do you do when a student is not following the school-wide expectations? Well, you follow our flow map. So we have minor behaviors and major behaviors. So what is a minor behavior? You're going to look over here where it says teacher and staff. This is managed behaviors. So examples of some managed behaviors that you can deal with is name calling, non-intentional swearing, talking back, some physical contact such as pushing, shoving, or kicking, with the understanding that it's not, you're not doing it to cause harm. Defiance or disrespect by not following directions, non-compliance, or lying and cheating, and disrespecting property. Maybe it's writing on a desk or stealing a minor item. These are all items that you can deal with. So how do you deal with it? The first thing you do is you redirect them. You redirect them, get them, remind them of what the care expectation is. You know what? You need to be caring about safety right now. Why don't you go play, over in this area? Okay. Say that kid is doing the same behavior. You're going to want to reteach it to them. So you're going to want to bring them back to the care expectation, bring them back to the poster to show what the expectation is, and reteach them how to walk in the hall or how to hold the ball appropriately when they're walking in the hallway going to recess. If the kid is continuing to do the same behavior and you've already redirected them, you've already retaught them, now you're going to go into a reflection. You're going to reteach it to them again and review the care expectations, and you're going to have a verbal reflection on, well, let's talk about, why are we doing this? Why are we not following directions? What do you think you could do better next time? What's something that you need to remind yourself when you're being distracted and you're not quite thinking? You're having that verbal conversation. But at that point, you do need to document this with an SDR. And so I'm going to explain to you what an SDR is. After you have done that, you've documented with an SDR and you've done the reflection, and the student continues to do the same behavior, then you're going to come down here to intervention number 4. You're going to do an individual reflection time. You should have in your binder or somewhere a reflection sheet, like a timeout sheet or a reflection sheet, where the student has to fill out a form that says what their behavior was and what they could do better. So this is a written behavior form, okay? It's a reflection sheet. Obviously, as appropriate, a TK student isn't quite doing that. So maybe they could be filling out a happy face, sad face, or medium face. Okay, so obviously this is grade appropriate. And then you're going to debrief with the teacher, let the teacher know what's happening, and then again, document with an SDR. So this is 2 SDRs that you have now given. Okay. If the student is continuing to show the same behavior, Now you're going to send the student to the office with an ODR sheet. Okay, so again, it's same behavior. Now you're documenting with an ODR. Make sure you do send the student to the office with this, as it will be dealt with immediately, or if the principal um, or acting principal is able to handle it. The SDRs you do not need to send with the student, that you can send to the teacher or put it in Rebecca's box. Okay. What I do want to stress is that you are going to go through these interventions with the same behavior. So I want to make it very clear that hitting someone is not the same behavior as talking back or being disrespectful. They are very different behaviors. So, this is why it's important that you follow this, because we understand that, little Alana is getting on your nerves because she keeps on, hitting and not following the rules, and she's talking back. And, little Alana is doing a whole lot of nonsense. And it's easy to give an SDR, but we really need to be mindful of where we are on that on our matrix, okay, on our flow chart. So if little Alana is hitting the very first time, you need to redirect it. And then the next time you see little Alana and now she's yelling at you, that is not intervention 2. That is intervention 1. You're going to redirect and discuss the care expectations. Okay. So those are two very different behaviors. However, if little Alana has been redirected for hitting and redirected for talking back, and then Alana starts hitting again, then you're in that intervention 2, reteaching. If little Alana talks back again, you're in intervention number 2, because that's the behavior for talking back. So you want to kind of keep track of where you're at with that behavior. Okay. An SDR. This is what an SDR looks like. Okay. It's a staff discipline referral, SDR. You're going to want to make sure that you put the student's full name. If you don't know their full name, that's okay. Ask them. They should know their first and last name. So you're going to put their first and last name, today's date, and the time. We do track data on the time that we're having difficulties with. So please make sure you put the time. Also put your name here, as we do keep track of that, the grade level of the student, and the teacher's name. So if Alana is in Miss Spence's class, you're going to put Miss Spence right here. You're just going to quickly mark what the minor behavior was. Alana is hitting someone, so I'm going to check off the unsafe play. Alana is hitting people on the playground, so I'm going to mark the playground. Now, possible motivation. Maybe you can think, you know what, Alana is trying to get the item and she's hitting because she wants to get an item or get to be playing that activity. So I would mark obtain an item or activity. This is just an estimate. Do your best to estimate what the possible motivation is, whether they're trying to get peer attention or adult attention, they're trying to get an item or an activity. We see this all the time on playing tetherball. They're trying to stay in the game because they don't feel like they got out, so they're going to argue and maybe hit. Or if they're trying to avoid a peer or avoid an adult, they're trying to avoid the task or the activity. They're submitting to peer pressure. It could be emotional or impulsive. Okay, so just do your best to approximate. Does it have to be 100% accurate? No, but just do your best to approximate. There is a back to this form. You're going to want to write what you did. So this was, I redirected, I retaught the expectation, and we did a verbal reflection. Or I spoke with students, I conferenced with students, and informed their teacher. Okay. Staff comments. This is where you kind of just list what they did. Alana punched another student on the playground while they were playing tetherball because she got out and didn't want to accept it. Okay. So this is where you just kind of quickly put what they did or what was going on. And then you're going to send the form to the office. And because we do need to input this data into our Swiss database, which collects all the information for us. Remember, you're going to fill this out and send it to the office or give it to the teacher after the bell. You do not need to send the student with the SDR. Now, what happens if a student is not following the school-wide expectation and is showing major behaviors? So what is a major behavior? A major behavior would be somewhere over here where you need to send them to the office. So if a student is making a threat or intimidating or bullying, they're using abusive language, using derogatory language, swearing at someone, that's really intent to be hurtful, or if they're harassing someone, then you're going to want to send them to the office with an ODR. If they're fighting, if they're kicking, hitting, pushing, shoving with or biting with the intent to cause harm. So there's some students who are going to bite and it's not intended to cause harm. But if they're like, I'm going to bite you because you're really making me mad and now you deserve it, so I'm now chomping on your arm, that's an ODR. Okay. Or if it's defiance or disrespect and it's aggressive. Notice the difference here. It's non aggressive versus aggressive. So, again, for not following directions and non compliance, or if they're disrespecting property, they're stealing major items, they're tagging, or any type of vandalism, you're going to want to send them straight to the office with an ODR. So you're going to need to fill out the ODR and send the student to the office, and the principal is going to follow her steps. There are steps for the principal to follow when a student is sent to the office with an ODR, and they are here. She has a student conference. She has administration to determine and assign the consequences, and the list goes on. So an ODR, this is a 3-page document. There's a white copy, a yellow copy, and a pink copy. So please make sure that you press hard. Again, you're going to want to put the student's first and last name, the date and the time. You're going to put your name here, the grade level of the student, and the student's teacher. You're just going to quickly check what the major behavior was. Was it bullying? Was it fighting? Physical aggression? Was it vandalism? Harassment? You're going to put the location. Were you in the library, in the restroom, in the lunch lines? And then a possible motivation. Again, the same thing applies. You just want to try to guess to the best of your ability what the motivation of the student was at the time. You're going to describe the incident. Alana brought her pin into the bathroom and was tagging on the bathroom wall. You're going to write that down. If there were any other peers involved, you're going to lift this white page because the white page goes to the parent. And we do not ever, ever, ever want to send home another student's name to a parent. That is confidential. So lift the page and write on the yellow copy any of the peers' names that were involved. So Alana was tagging in the bathroom with Sarah and Rebecca. So you would put Sarah and Rebecca here, or any other staff that was involved on the yellow copy, though. Okay, and it will go into the pink. And then that's what you send. The administration, Ms. Casillas, will check off the rest. Okay, so you send the student to the office with this. And this is for a major behavior. It's also if a student has already had an SDR and is exhibiting the same minor behavior again. Remember, this is intervention 5 on our flow chart. If I remember correctly, this is intervention 5 on our flow chart. So if they've had an SDR intervention 3, an SDR intervention 4, and now they're doing the same behavior, now they're getting that ODR. So there's 2 ways you can get an ODR. A minor, which is intervention number 5, or a major behavior. Now, tier 2. What happens if tier 1 interventions are not working? Well, like I showed you before, we have tier 2. This would be about 15% of our students. So they need a little extra support with their behavior. So what would that look like? So what is tier 2? Tier 2 practices and systems provide targeted supports for students who are not successful with tier 1 supports only. They need a little bit more support. They need a little bit more guidance. The focus is on supporting students who are at risk for developing more serious problem behavior before they start. So we know early intervention works, and so we want to intervene before major behavior problems begin. So it's essentially just the support at this level is more focused than tier 1, but it's less intensive than tier 3. So the main system that we have in place for tier 1, or I'm sorry, for tier 2 interventions is check in and check out. There are other interventions when check in and check out is not working. However, all students identified as tier 2 kiddos will participate in check in and check out. So students who are participating in check in and check out have what they call as their hug card. This is a Roadrunner hug card. It's a hello, update, and goodbye. So students participating in check in and check out are going to hand you their hug card at the beginning of recess. And you fill it out at the end. Students have a mentor and they set a daily goal and they are working to receive points. And at the end of the day, if they've received their points, they get some sort of reinforcer at the end of the day. So again, you are looking at if they were able to care about safety, act responsibly, and respect everyone. So if a student hands you their hug card at recess and you didn't hear about them, then they cared about safety because you didn't hear about it. You would know if they were not caring about safety. Same thing with acting responsibly and respecting everyone. If your eyes didn't go to them, if you didn't have to see them, and they were not on your radar, then they get 2s. They would get a total of 6 points down here. So same if you're a classroom teacher. If they're caring about safety, following the rules of your classroom, then they get a 2. If they're acting responsibly, following the rules in your classroom, they get a 2. If they respected everyone, following the rules on your matrix in your classroom, they get a 2. They get a 1 if they need some redirection. So if they're outside on the playground or in your classroom and they need a little bit of redirection, you've had to talk to them once, then you would give them a 1. If you've had to talk to them multiple times, you would give them a 0. Now, most of the time, kids are not going to get zeros all across this. If they, you know, if they were, you know, not following directions from the teacher and they needed a multiple reinforcers, then you would give them a 0. But did they care about safety? Absolutely. They were in the classroom. They were keeping their pencils and doing what they were supposed to be doing appropriately. That's a 2. They just weren't acting responsibly. So now they get a 0 there. Were they respecting everyone? Maybe they get a 1 here because they needed a little bit of a reminder, but they weren't necessarily rude or disrespectful. They just weren't acting responsibly. So please remember that each of these care expectations, according to our matrix, are very different. So you're going to want to make sure that you're giving out these numbers for appropriateness based off of the matrix, okay, and your personal classroom matrix. So check in and check out. Filling out the hug card should take no longer than about 30 seconds. When I'm filling it out, I'll ask the student, did you care about safety? Yes. Or they say, yes, I did. I stayed in the classroom. Did you act responsibly? Yes, I did, because I squatted when the bell rang. Did you respect everyone? Yes, I did, because I shared a kind word to a friend. So it's fast, and yet it provides the student with immediate feedback from that part of their day. So who qualifies for Tier 2? The team has a Tier 2 decision rubric. So we never want to make we never want to put a student into Tier 2 based off of an emotional response. So we always want to make sure that we put a student into Tier 2 based off of data. So the PBIS team meets monthly to look at data that the school has collected based off of our SDRs and ODRs. And based off this data and teacher input through a request for assistance form, students either qualify or they do not qualify based off the decision rubric. So if a student is at risk, that's going to be where we're going to be talking about adding Tier 2 into them. If they're at high risk, they're for sure getting Tier 2 supports. Okay, so we are definitely looking at those at-risk students, keeping track of them, continuing to talk about them, and watching them. And if we determine that, you know what, they are at risk, we really need to put in some Tier 2 interventions, then off they go. But it's always based off of data. So things that we've learned from previous years, one of the things was while on the playground, a student gives me their hug card and I can't watch them only, as I have to supervise all students and not just one. Well, don't worry. You will know if a student was not being responsible, respectful, or caring about safety. You're either going to see it or you're going to hear about it from other students. So as far as we're concerned, no news is good news. Give them a 2. So what about Tier 3 interventions? So if Tier 2, SECO, or some of the other interventions that we have in place, such as counseling, what happens if that doesn't work? Then we go into Tier 3 interventions. And this is going to be about 5%, 1 to 5% of our school population. Right now, Tier 3 is currently in progress. So our team is currently attending Tier 3 trainings. So we don't have this in place yet, but we will. So look for more information to come regarding Tier 3. If you have any questions, please reach out to your tier or to your PBIS team. We are here to answer any questions that you have. So please do not hesitate to come and ask us. What I want you to remember is that it does take time. So be patient with yourself. Keep practicing. Don't get down on yourself. Even if you have to ask questions or you forgot to give out care tickets, just, do it again tomorrow. Just keep practicing, ask questions. It takes time to learn something new. And so we recognize that. So keep on trying, keep on practicing. You're doing a good job, and keep up the good work. So now that you've watched this video, what we want you to do is either email Rebecca Casillas or myself, Alana Dowell, and we're going to email you a short Google form for you to fill out. This documents that you've completed the PBIS training, as we need to have documentation that you have completed the training. Thank you very much. You can always come talk to Rebecca or myself and just let us know that you completed the training. And we'll send you the document. We're also trying to work on a QR code. So if a QR code pops up, you can use that QR code to access the Google form. Thank you so much for listening to this training. We really appreciate it. And welcome to William Orr. We are so glad you're here.